moment, guys. Never a dull moment, I tell you, and never a dull moment. Welcome back again. Hopefully, to be the last break, right? Before the program ends today. I was finishing up that story and just going to my other story by saying to you guys that, I mean, with regard to the teachers, the problem with the JTA and all that is happening, this is the ongoing story. That's the bottom line. Okay. And so I will always have something to say about this as it goes on. At this point in time, what I want to say to Mr. Speed is that, Mr. Speed, you have bigger fish to fry than what you're frying right now. We have 2 months in front of us to prepare our students for their CSEC exams, and that's all should be your concern right now, to prepare the students for their exam. The Ministry of Education has already, committed to what they will do to assist, and they've already said they will take care of the students and the teachers in terms of preparing the locations for the exams, providing transportation, etc., etc. So your concern really ought to be just thinking about how you're going to prepare the students in the next 2 months for their CSEC exams. Yeah, come on. We depend on you guys to know what you're doing. You're supposed to be educated. You're supposed to train our students, preparing them for men to be men and women of tomorrow to lead the country. Okay, so next story, guys. The legislation to amend the Fiscal Responsibility Law was passed by the House of Representatives on Wednesday without amendment, but not before a lengthy and contentious debate over the route taken by the government and the short notice given to the opposition, that is the People's National Party, PNP. The passage of the law is the first of several steps that will clear the way for the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, that is PAC, right, to examine the first supplementary estimates of expenditure. Last week, the committee said it could not review the revised budget until the rules in the Financial Administration Audit, which is the FAA Act, were observed. The legislation passed yesterday will amend the FAA Act, which seeks to extend the debt to GDP target of 60% by March 31st, 2026 to March 31st, 2028. You understand? Due to COVID-19, of course. The 2-year adjustment being sought by the government in the legislated target is occasioned by the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, as I said, which has shredded the economic projections of the administration, leaving in its wake a maximum 6% contraction forecast for the economy and an $81 billion loss in revenues for the current fiscal year, as was outlined in the House before by the Finance Minister, Dr. Nigel Clark. During Wednesday's debate, opinions clashed fiercely as the leader for the opposition, Dr. Peter Phillips, and Dr. Nigel Clark, Finance Minister, squared off with both lawmakers shouting at each other from across the aisle. And guys, can I tell you, I was watching a little bit of it, and it's the first in my life I've ever seen Dr. Clark like that. Don't touch that corner, that man, that man is as quiet as you see him there on the TV. Not very quiet at all. He can be loud, and he was loud in the house. This is it, and I'm quoting him. What they want is for us to delay. There is no room for delay, Clark declared. With decibel levels rising sharply, Clark said, and it was really loud. If it was up to them, all they're interested in is delay. The need is now. The people need assistance now. There is no room for delay. It's not funny, guys. It's serious thing. And I must say, of all the ministers, seriously speaking, do not touch Dr. Clark. Touch anybody else, but don't touch Dr. Clark, because this man is working, is one of the hardest working ministers in cabinet as far as I can see. And this man knows his stuff. He knows, and this is one person you don't have to query and to worry and wonder about. Dr. Clark knows his numbers, and he has a good heart. His heart's at the right place as far as I can see. So really and truly, this one person you don't want to touch. Touch somebody else, but not Dr. Clark. So Dr. Phillips now rose on a point of order, charging that Clark was misrepresenting what the opposition had said. With the shouting match at full pitch, Dr. Phillips urged Dr. Clark to withdraw his disingenuous remarks. However, Dr. Clark dismissed his call. Clark said, I'm reading now the article in the paper, right? Clark said that the government could not delay passage of the revised budget, which contains $6 billion in expenditure for the health sector and $17 billion for social programs. He said that because of the COVID-19 crisis, for the initiation of the process to suspend the rules. However, opposition spokesman on finance, Mark Golding, said that from the onset of the COVID pandemic here, the government was advised that a declaration of a public emergency within the parameters of Section 20 of the Constitution was the approach to have taken. He said that Clark, while in the upper house, had strongly recommended that the fiscal responsibility rules be enshrined in the Constitution. Here we are today, I'm quoting him, where he's amending the FAA Act by circumventing the constitutional rule, Golding said. So, this, guys, is an developing story or an ongoing one now, right? Which I will have more information for you going forward as I get the information to pass on to you. You understand? Both sides of the coin, both sides of the aisle have legitimate concerns, and they have legitimate points that they're both raised, and both of them are valid points, actually. My take on it at this point in time, before I will, like I said, I will continue at a later time, but my take on it at this point in time is simply this, you understand? I'm kind of worried about the fact that the majority in both houses are from the government, right? The Labour Party members, you understand? Majority. So whenever whatever laws are being written at this point in time, whatever act has to be, motion has to be passed, the majority is for the government. And so without the opposition, if the opposition even disagree, the law can still be passed. And that's what concerns me, guys. This is why we need healthy opposition. We must always have healthy opposition, you understand? Yes, because of the fact that when you find a situation wherein one particular party governs in both houses, right? You find that things, unfortunately, can get, I don't want to use the word that I want to use, but the point is, right, that it is not in our best interest. It's not in our best interest when we do not have healthy debates and we do not have situations wherein both sides can at least come together. And if you even have a situation where you need a third person to break the tie, we like that, as opposed to having one side, dominating and basically pushing through things and pushing things down our throats that we don't like. You understand? It's very good to have a good opposition and a healthy opposition. The problem is, unfortunately, that this opposition, you understand, seem to have been sleeping for a long time and has just awoken. Yeah? They seem to have finally gotten their act together to some extent, while they were being very divisive before. But during this pandemic, they seem to have stepped up to the plate, and they've been asking some very valid questions. I've been watching the debates, and they've been asking some very valid questions. And unfortunately, rules are being passed because of the fact that the majority in the House is from one side. You understand? That's not good. Yeah. Pay attention, guys, because rules that are being made, policies that are being made, can adversely affect you. Like I said, you understand? If you do not pay attention and you don't voice your opinion, let your voice be heard. Yeah. Okay. All right. And to close, I'm finishing up, guys. So to close, I'm going to close on 2 points. The first one is, just because I give you the story, I give you the story about the bounty killer and Beenie Man clash, and how much the police had come to turn off the sound, as they usually do whenever there is, and we were saying because of the curfew and all that. Apparently, that was not the case at all. So let me tell you from the horse's mouth now what the horse has said. So according to the promoter, Sharon Burke, no attempt was made by the police to lock down the in-studio Bounty Beenie Man clash on Saturday, May 23rd. She said during an interview on Nationwide Radio, basically, that the police were there and basically to, make sure everything was up and up, and everything was okay, and things were going okay. So she said, I'm quoting her, she said basically she has lauded the police for being cordial and checking that all was going well. So she is lauding the police that for being cordial and checking that all was going well. That was what they're there for. They were there to check that everything was going well, and they were very cordial, right? They did not want to be that guy. They were not trying to be that guy. Absolutely not. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And on that note, that ends basically, guys, my our local news. Um, the only thing I want to say for international news, actually, just to give you a little bit of international news, because I have to give because I'm a woman without borders, just to give you a little bit of international news. So I just want to give you what the CARICOM chairman, you know, that Mia Mottley, right, from Barbados Prime Minister, she is the chairman for CARICOM, and basically she is saying, people are talking about reopening the economy and opening up to tourists and all that, and she is saying we are not going to be driven by data. Everybody wants to know, when are we opening? When are we opening? When are we opening up? Including even Jamaica here, the JHTA tourism and other persons are asking the same question. When are we opening up the tourism industry? And she agreed and she understands 50% in that country of their GDP depends on tourism, right? In Jamaica, it's our number one foreign exchange earner. Nevertheless, she says we are not going to be driven by date. We are going to be driven instead by protocols that make us safe. Okay? She says that she wants to ensure that we remain safe for the people, right? Safe for the persons who are visiting the country, right? And she hoped that, yes, we can reopen, because she was doing an interview on the BBC and the question was asked. And so she said, yes. They were saying, with it weeks or months? And she said, yes, we would hope for it to be weeks. Yes, we'd love for it to be in weeks. However, right, we have to deal with first the issue of testing. The issue of testing is a big thing, okay? And so until we can satisfy, you understand, ourselves that we are going to be able to test, and we're going to be able to put certain protocols in place that is going to provide for the safety of all our people, then we're not worrying about data, about when we're going to open. We got to take care of our people first. And so I hope that the Honorable Edmund Bartlett and the Minister of Tourism, they're listening and they're watching and they're hearing, okay? Because that's about the date. It's about whether or not people will be safe, protocols are put in place, etc., before you talk about opening, okay? And as I have been saying again and again, and I think the person that agree with me, that we need to refocus and start to think about agriculture, revamp the agriculture industry, okay? That industry is a very viable industry that we need to revamp, you understand? Okay, too long we have depended upon tourism to be our number one foreign exchange earner. Why should that be? You see what happens, right, when you do that. And that's why now you're rushing to reopen, because that is your main source of income. It ought not to be your main source of income. And so COVID-19 has taught you that you cannot make it your main source of income. And so going forward, you have to go back to the drawing board and go back to the think tank, and your brilliant minds come up with other solutions. Okay? We have many things that can bring in income into this country. And you know it, and we know it, and all of us know it. And so let's do what we can, right, for the safety and the betterment of our people. Amen. And on that note, that's my end. I'll end my spiel on that note, guys. Yeah. Oh, I was giving you guys some tips the other day, and unfortunately, because the feed fell, I didn't get to give you the tips, right? And so I'm gonna end the program with those tips, guys. Yes. These tips that I'm giving you was from a retired inspector of police, who basically I got these tips from. But this, guys, you know that robbery is on the rise, right? Robbers are out there in droves, okay, and now they're gotten sophisticated. They're not only robbing car robberies now. They're going online, right? And they're stealing by using computerized equipment. You understand? And so the inspector, so the retired inspector of police, said it is up to us to take all necessary precautions to protect ourselves from criminals. With modern technology, criminals are always ahead of us. While we are toiling, they have all the time in the world to plan schemes to rob us. Don't rely on the police. Listen to this from a retired inspector of police. He says, do not rely on the police, as they are mostly reactionary. And we already know it, don't we? We're getting the confirmation here. They are mostly reactionary. They usually get involved after the incident. Okay, here are some tips that I find helpful. I'm going to give you these 7 tips. That's more than 7. I'll give you most of them. One, he says, limit the use of cash as much as possible. As much as possible, limit the use of cash. Two, never leave large amounts of money or valuables in your motor vehicle or at home. Don't do it, because they'll break in and steal. Be careful who knows about your business transactions, including family members and friends, because sometimes you think your friend is your friend, but your friend is your enemy. And I can tell you about that too. You say, avoid using ATMs at remote locations, especially after business hours or in the night. You understand? So if you're going to have to use the ATM, make sure it is not remote in a remote location, and remember, and make sure it is well lit, and make sure other people are around. Preferably to do it during business hours. Okay. Next, change your travel routine regularly and always check to see if you are being followed. You see what happened with these Chinese nationals who get robbed when they're traveling with all this money because people study their route. You understand? Yeah. Keep the entrance of your home clear and look out for anything suspicious, especially strange persons who might be hanging around, because what they do, they scout out the house for days, if not weeks, to see the pattern of persons, and then they pounce when they know you're not there. Yeah. Place unique markings on your jewelry, appliances, and laptops. So whatever you have, make sure to mark it, because if push comes to shove and you have to identify your item, how can I tell it is your HP and not somebody else's? Your Dell, not somebody else's. Your Samsung, whatever, your Apple. How do I know, right? Mark it. Make sure it has your markings on it. Put your name on it, or whatever you want to put on it, or whatever you want to identify that particular item, so that if push comes to shove and it is recovered, you can say, oh, it is mine, and you can prove it is yours with your markings. Okay. Never leave your house unattended without letting a trusted neighbor or family member know that you are not there. So at the same time, while it is that you can't tell them too much of your business, you understand, if you're not going to be home for an extended period of time, you should let somebody who you trust know so that they can give an eye. Okay? Also, if you can afford to, install a good camera system. Yeah? And last but not least, get the apps from your financial institutions which alerts you of transactions made with your credit or debit cards. And I do that, guys. Okay, so every time I use my account, every single time, I'm the one using it, but every single time I use it, the bank informs me, they alert me to the fact that it is being used, because God forbid at any point in time that it is not me using it, I would have gotten that alert to know that it is being used, right? And then I can act upon it. So it's a good idea, guys, to have that alert system on your phone, right? Or by an email that tells you, whether it's a text message or an email, that tells you that, listen, you use the account or somebody used the account, right? Absolutely. That's one of the main ways I find that it's very helpful for me in terms of monitoring my account. And it's a good idea for you to do likewise. Okay, guys? Absolutely. I hope you take these things into consideration, okay, and practice them, okay? My people are destroyed, guys, for lack of knowledge. You understand? Being destroyed doesn't mean dying, as some people claim. It's not being dying. It's living a life that is less than. You understand? As a result of not doing what you're supposed to do. God give us wisdom. He gives every one of us wisdom, guys. So we're supposed to use wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You understand? If you don't have wisdom, he says he gives to every man liberally. So that means you should ask of him, and he will give it to you. Okay? Absolutely. So let us be wise, guys, in this time of COVID-19, because we know even though we're supposed to be loving and compassionate, unfortunately, many persons are not. There are some people, guys, whose heart seems to have made out of stone. You understand? And they are cold. Yes. And even in COVID-19, they are cold and heartless. There are some people like that. We know that. You understand? And so I'm saying to you, you can't, you understand, depend on persons to be loving and kind and trustworthy, okay, and have integrity. No, you can't depend on that. You have to depend on the fact that God give you the faculty, the intelligence, the wisdom, and the knowledge and understanding to carry out and to function in this world. Okay, it takes all sorts, and we are all at different levels on that journey called life. You understand? And many of us are not there yet, and we have to understand it. That's a reality, guys. You have to understand they're just not there yet, right? And so as a result of which you protect yourself and protect your loved ones. Absolutely. Okay, guys, come to the end of the program for today. I am sorry again for all the interruptions. I am going to put together the playlist so that those persons, okay, who can watch it seamlessly, right? Thank you, my faithful audience, for watching, for having the patience, doing all interruptions to still be here with me. Thank you. Give me a thumbs up, man, and let me see the thumbs up coming, right? Okay, if you enjoy the program, share with your friends and family. Share the link with your family. Remember, you can also comment even when the program is finished. You can still comment on the program that you have watched, and I can still respond to that comment also. Absolutely. Okay, I thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to all my subscribers. Keep those subscriptions coming. Okay. And remember, I'm also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Omega News JA, where you can go comment, like, and share. Absolutely. So until I see you again tomorrow, remember, guys, if you're going on the road, practice infection control measures, wearing your mask. I do not advocate wearing mask all the time, but for the few couple of hours that you're going to go outside there for, then you put on your mask, okay, and ensure that you are staying at least 6 feet apart from the other person near you, okay. Practice this physical distancing. Yeah, absolutely. Not social distancing in the sense of not being sociable and and socializing with your fellow men, which is what I see happen sometimes. People use it as an excuse not to be sociable. No, you can be sociable. Hi, hello, how are you? How was your day? It's okay. My grandmother always said, how would they take you? But not square. You understand? So you can be sociable, but maintain your distance is what we are saying at this point in time until we have given the go ahead that all is well in terms of persons being COVID-19 free. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. That's it. Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, God willing, at noon again, where we do it all over. Okay. So until then, continue to love upon each other. Cherish each other, okay, and be there for each other as much as you can. It is what the Father wants of all of us, right? It's to love your neighbor as yourself. So let us show love. Just remember that love is an action word, guys. It's not what you say, it's what you do. So until then, stay blessed and be a blessing. Love you. Bye.